Oh man, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Big Old Country. I got my homeboy Smitty and Enjoi my world in the building. What's going on with y'all, fam?
Nothing much, man.
Definitely. Man, I ain't had a chance to really chop it up with y'all in a minute. So, I just want to kind of check in with y'all, see what y'all thinking about this offseason so far for the Atlanta Falcons. And, of course we got to talk about Dak getting his bag. Of course we got to talk about that.
Hey, I'm not. Hey, I'm with him. I'm with him.
Definitely. Definitely. So let me ask y'all this right here. So what are y'all thinking so far about this Atlanta Falcons off season? How y'all feeling about it?
Well, you know how I do it. Right now I'm just looking at the draft and how it's gonna shake out, and free agents and what they can and can't afford. I know I enjoy jump on me sometimes because I like to look at certain free agents that's a little up in age, but at the same time you always got to put age with youth and mix it just right, just like they did in 2016. I can see them doing that this year to keep the team pretty level. And as I told you a little bit earlier, I actually like that he's bringing in competition at every position. This will make all players get off their ass and hustle. And I think it's a good look for the Atlanta Falcons and Arthur Smith already.
Definitely. Now, Joy, tell me what you think. What you got on your mind, Joy? Joy, you muted. Hold on. We can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm really honestly tired of just watching the BS go on about it from all platforms. Honestly, as a fan, I don't care what we do as long as we can win more than 4 games out of a season. I am satisfied. I don't give a damn if we get the first pick, the 5th pick, the 10th pick, the 100th pick. I don't care as long as we can create some momentum with our team and just move forward. But all that bickering and junk, arguing about who gonna be the 4th pick and all that, I don't care. Like, it's just, we need to be focusing on winning. That should be our goal. Who gives a damn if the person is a quarterback, a tight end, or whoever the case may be? I'm just tired. And did you say something about Prescott?
Dak Prescott just got broke off.
Okay, so I didn't know that either until I happened to see your title before I logged on. Because I haven't really been keeping up with football. I don't really keep up with football during the off season like that until it comes to like preseason games or whatever. So I'm happy for Dak. I believe that he deserves it. I just hope that these 4 years he's able to at least bring something to that team. So I'm excited. But as far as the Falcons are concerned, I just want to win. And hey, Coach Ron.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Braden.
Hey man, it's like me and Coach Smitty, we were talking, before we went live, and Smitty was like, "Look, man, I'm kind of liking the direction that everybody's going in already because, the coach is bringing in competition, and we all know that's how teams get better. Dan Quinn, he always yelled, "Iron sharpens iron," and we couldn't cut a tomato with a butter knife. So, moving forward, Arthur Smith, he ain't talking about it. He's just being about it. He ain't doing all that big talking about iron sharpens iron and all kind of stuff like that. He's actually putting things in place, and whenever you bring guys, behind someone else, like that's whenever guys really perform. Look at Aaron Rodgers.
You're right.
Whenever they brought in their backup, So I mean, right. It's definitely one of those situations.
At this point, as far as backup is concerned, I know we're gonna draft a quarterback. Well, we have to unless we pick up somebody from like free agency or somewhere off the street. We have to. We don't have any quarterbacks except for Matt Ryan. So I don't even understand what the big old hoorah is about anyway. No, I didn't want Justin Fields as a quarterback of ours, but that's just my personal opinion. I think more or less we usually pick people for popularity more or less than what they can really do. So I was opposed to that whole Justin Fields thing, but I don't care if we do pick him up. I'm not going to be mad. I am ready for bed. but I'm not gonna be mad. If we do pick a quarterback, I saw one that said Kyle Pitts, which I think is a tight end. So whoever we pick, as long as it's somebody that can add some growth to our team, I don't care. But quarterback, I know we got to pick one of those.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole quarterback situation, Smitty?
Yeah, and to be honest, I wouldn't be mad. If they pick the quarterback in the third round. If he comes in and develops how he's supposed to develop, and he can, put the ball in the end zone, throw it downfield, that's all he needs to do. All the time, names do not mean anything. We've seen names become major busts in the league. Jamarcus Russell was a can't-miss prospect. He stayed in the league. So, it's just a name. It's about what you come in and put together as a quarterback. It's not about your name. Because, to be honest, I think Kellen Mond, a lot of people not talking about him. He's the same size as Justin Fields, same type can run. What if he comes in, they take him in the third or fourth round, he comes in, turns out to be a lights out player. What's your excuse on Justin Fields then?
Nothing really, honestly. I just believe that it's become, especially like on Twitter, where everybody bickering and want it their way, like they getting paid for it. Who gives a damn who it is? Just win. Like that's my whole thing with it. Is just to win.
Right.
And you make a good point there, Smitty. Because you talk about Justin Fields. And y'all know what my saying is. Every time somebody, kind of they find a player that they think he's the next God sent, people get naked for him. And people are definitely getting naked for Justin Fields right now. But, as y'all seen, the title is, how does this Dak Prescott deal affect the Atlanta Falcons? So, and this is kind of a take that I had whenever this news broke. Basically, I was thinking, whenever Patrick Mahomes came in and just got broke off, he kind of just screwed the whole market up. So now you got situations like this where Dak Prescott, who hadn't really done nothing, I mean, he's won, and he's balled out. But when it came to, in the playoffs and, making those deep playoff runs and just getting to that next level, like now he's $123 million guaranteed. I mean, that's a whole lot of money.
75 the first year.
75 million the first year. What in the world, bro? That's crazy.
Hey man, in his bag, I ain't hating on him one bit. I just hope that it just doesn't become an outcome to where they pay him all this money, can't get their team together, and then they end up being a 4-something team like us.
But
I hope that isn't the outcome.
The thing with that, it's the owners and the GMs. It's their fault. If they set the market that high, they got to deal with it. Yep. And the only way that they can fix it, if they boost the salary cap all the way up to $250 million. That's the only way that everything will work out. Is at 180 now, so you sign the contract like that, you're throwing your team in cap hell. But it's the owner's fault. They pay them that kind of money. So they're going to just keep boosting it further and further along until somebody comes along and set the market straight. If they don't set the market straight, then it's going to be a problem. It's just as simple as that. And to answer your question about what does it mean for Matt Ryan, not a damn thing, because after his 2 years done in Atlanta, he may be done for good. Simple as that.
Throwing them fingers up. Throwing them fingers up. After these 2 years, it's like I'm telling everybody, and I'm hoping that everybody's taking heed. Like once this is done, once these 2 years are done, y'all might as well go ahead and start looking for the heir apparent. Just like Smitty said earlier, maybe they could pick up a guy like a Kellen Mond because he actually has a pretty good skill set. Maybe they could pick a guy like him up, and then moving forward, they could plug him in, and it'll be a plug and play kind of a situation. And
think about this, dog. think about this. Dak Prescott was a fourth or fifth round pick. And they had, and you know who? I think Romo was the quarterback when he got there. So if you pick what you need with the first couple of rounds, take a quarterback in the middle rounds, you're saving yourself time and money, and you're resetting the scale at that position. You got to think about it with Jake Matthews, Grady Jarrett, even though people don't want to talk about that, Deion Jones, any position that has a big contract at some point will have to be reset. So if you reset it at that position and not having to pay a quarterback $20 million his first contract, you already ahead of the curve.
Yes.
Because a quarterback in the middle rounds, their contract is only $45 million for 3 years. Yep. You already ahead of the curve and you doing what's right.
You ahead of the game.
So you just have to think about things like that, man. It's not always about names, it's about production.
Exactly. It's like if we look at all these quarterbacks that's won Super Bowls like these last 20 years, you know, you don't really see too many of those top guys besides Peyton. You don't see too many of those top guys that, you know, kind of went out and, you know, won multiple Super Bowls or won a Super Bowl. I mean, it's not one of those cases where that's really happened. It's your guys that were, you know, the fourth or fifth quarterback prospect that was out there. Those are the guys that won. For example, like your boy Andrew Luck, they said he was the third highest quarterback prospect in NFL history. He ain't even in the league no more.
Exactly. It's all about production. And that goes for any position on the field. People don't like to talk about Kyle Pitts because he's a tight end. But think about it. Julio is getting old. Calvin Ridley is almost due for a deal. He's going to need a teammate that can catch and score touchdowns. They're going to need somebody to open up them seams. Hayden Hurst has 2 years left on his contract. Who knows if he resigns in Atlanta when his time is up. So Kyle Pitts is, you know, that's why I think he's ideal at number 4, or if they trade back, he's still in the mix because he's a generational talent. So, and when you have that, you know, in your eyesight, you have to take a chance.
Yeah. You know, everybody's talking about it. Apparently, everybody's saying there's a lot of generational talents in this draft because people are saying the same thing about your boy Sewell. They're saying that he's a generational talent.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Kyle Pitts, they're saying that he's a generational talent. You know, Trevor Lawrence, they're saying he's a generational talent. But you know, it's one of those things, man, where it's like, you know, we just got to kind of feel it out and see how it unfolds, man. Because you know, what if Sewell gets hurt? What if he, you know, tears that ACL, MCL? He ain't never the same. You don't have the same bend no more. You know, what if Kyle Pitts tears that what's it called, that Achilles? You know, that those are kind of injuries that tight ends can't get, man. I mean, so you know, it's definitely a big deal, bro. Like, you know, you paying all that money to somebody at that fourth spot. Like, why not trade down, like you were saying, Smitty? See what you could do about, you know, getting somebody a little bit lower and getting some more picks because we gonna need them. We gonna need them, man.
I agree.
Yeah, man. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I mean, so it's like with this whole Matt Ryan situation, though, it's like we know that Matt Ryan's going to be here this year. And most likely, depending on, because everybody has to also consider that Arthur Smith, he's never dealt with Matt Ryan before. So all these guys are filling each other out, you know. It's one of those situations where Arthur Smith, he's filling Matt Ryan out to see how he leads the team, and Fonten knows he's filling Matt Ryan out to see if it's worth doing it again for this year after this one. So it's like we don't know how it's going to unfold, man.
Yeah, I think
what's going on, Devon?
I think with Matt Ryan, I think the problem is um, I just think he just lacks respect because what he hasn't done. We know numbers don't tell the whole story, but he's a locker room guy. He's a leader on the field. And even though we're seeing a little bit of decline, I think with the right pieces around him, as I've said many times with the run game, if they get the right run game around him, I think that adds on 2 to 3 years, makes him productive, and I think they can skip on the quarterback for 2 years. But if they take one in the middle round this year, I would not be mad because, like I said, we just don't never know how things pan out. Tom Brady was a 6th round pick. As I said, Dak Prescott was a 4th, 5th round pick. So, it's all about production and what you bring to the table. So,
You're
Matt
right.
Ryan, 2 years, and I think he's done.
I think I agree with you on that, man. And it's one of those situations. It ain't like I don't have respect for Matt Ryan or anything like that. But I mean, just think about it, Smitty. If you got in $200 million, if you got $100 million deal and $150 million deal, even if you got a chance to get another deal, do you think you're going to ask for reasonable money? I mean, so let's say Matt Ryan comes, he just balls out the next 2 years, and they say, you know what, let's run it back with Matt a couple more years, kind of like Drew Brees. Do you think Matt's going to ask for reasonable money?
Nah, he's gonna ask for top of the dollar because of what he's accomplished in his career. So this is why I
Exactly.
said you have to reset the schedule every so often. And if you think about it, and I've said this 1,000 times, fans got mad, but I don't care. When Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes were in the draft, they had a chance to reset the schedule, reset the pay scale. Then he was in near the end of his deal. You could have got a young quarterback 3, 4 years ago, and we would not be having this conversation.
That's true. That's true. They just didn't want to make that move, man. They didn't want to pull that trigger. Kobe fan Empire, what's going on, fam? He said it starts with your QB. He's
Yep,
good.
it
You have
do.
something. Yeah, you're right. It starts with the QB, man. And my bad. I apologize for not shouting everybody out, man. Just chilling out with us tonight. Cooling E. Roberts, I see you in here, Bo. I see you. I see that we got some of Smitty subscribers. We got some of my subscribers. And some of Miss
Yeah,
Joy subscribers in here, man.
yeah.
But
I had to block that Triple X Ten Nation, whatever his name is. We
yeah,
don't do
yeah.
that. We don't do that racial thing in here, man. We
Nah,
in here to
nah.
have fun and talk sports.
Exactly. That's what it's about, man. Yeah, we don't really do that. We don't really do that. What's going on, my homeboy CG Roots of Sports? I see you. I see you. Now Corey the guy, he asked who we taking with the fourth. Now I know that you said earlier, Smitty, you said that you think that we should go for one of the generational guys.
Yeah, I'm going either Sewell or Pitts at number 4. A lot of people don't like that, but I've been saying it for a couple of months now, and I'm going to stick to it mainly because I think Pitts could just be the next big thing at tight end. And like I said, you have Julio getting up in age and Calvin Ridley up for a deal, and who knows how that's going to shake out. But you have that guy at least for the first 4 years, 5 years of his career, and I think he's a generational talent that could really open up the Falcons' offense.
Yeah. You know what? It's like in the beginning, like, I really wasn't feeling Pitts, but it's like the more I thought about it and I watched like film on Tennessee from last year, I was like, man, these guys are running a lot of 2 tight end sets. And I was
Right.
like, man, I remember whenever John Smith was healthy, dude was balling out. And he looks a
Right.
lot like John Smith out there. So, I mean, that could definitely be an option. That could definitely be an option, man.
Yeah, and as I've said, man, I'm not saying these quarterbacks can't play, but if you have a future Hall of Fame quarterback under center right now who has at least 2 to 3 good years left, why draft a rookie quarterback this year in the first round? Mid-round, I can understand that. If that mid-round pick fails, you still have a safety blanket in the next 2 to 3 years to take one in the first round. So
Yeah,
it's just something that you have to think about. We're not talking about this year. We're talking about the next 5 to 10 years. So, and
that's true.
that's what people need to understand.
Yeah, I think everybody's just getting kind of frustrated. I think everybody's just like, I'm ready for something new, and I want to be entertained. I want the fast quarterback that could, you know, make that one play. Yeah, I mean, because when we watch Michael Vick, there were times we would go to the game or we'll watch the game. We knew we wasn't gonna win the game.
Right.
you know,
Right.
but it was like, oh, well, let's see what Michael Vick could do, and that's all it was. So we literally just went off of moral victories off of that crazy
Right.
that crazy play that Michael Vick made on a 3rd and 12, and he scrambled and got the first down. Joy, you got straightened out down there?
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm glad you said what you just said because I gotta put my 2 cents in about that. Basically, when it comes to Mike Vick, everybody knows that he was just so terrible at what he had going on. But the man had the place just electrified. And I think more or less people just wanted to get back to that point. Not to say that we want a black man for no damn quarterback, but people just wanted to be to where, our fans are able to communicate again with each other and just have a good time rather than sitting at the edge of your seat, goddamn looking, and then to be disappointed when you walking out the door for fourth quarter, at the end of fourth quarter. And that's not to say that Matt Ryan is the reason, because I'm not saying that. Our whole team sucks as a damn whole. But I think, I figured out when folks say that they want Atlanta culture or whatever the case may be, they just want it to where it's just we're winning, but we ain't winning, but it's having fun with it. I don't really think people really care about being 1-16 or 1-15 or whatever the case may be, as long as it's like exciting. And that was the thing about Vic. The man could lose all 16 games, but everybody was in there. I don't care if we was 0-16. Folks was in them seats. They was there, you know.
But
So
the thing about that, I understand where you're coming from with that, and I totally agree. But what if you put an exciting team, whole team, not just one player, the whole team is exciting.
I
This
agree.
is where they have to step up with coaching, man. Coaching brings excitement, and that's all to it. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. People always talking about we don't need more weapons. We got wide receivers. Kansas City Chiefs they had 3 wide receivers that could break at any point, the best tight end in the game. And what's the common denominator? Coaching. Even though they sucked on defense a lot, coaching that offense is what made them who they are. And that's all Atlanta had to do. They had to put the right coaches and the right players in their system to succeed.
I agree totally.
And
I just feel like they
we
left.
won't be having this conversation.
We
Go
left
ahead.
folks on the books too damn long. And that includes the coaching staff, the paint folk, the janitors, everybody. We just left folks on the staff too damn long. And I agree with
Yeah.
you. If we would have been looking at this 3 or 4 years ago, by now we would be better than what we were in the last few years. So I do agree with you, Smitty, on that one about, if we would have just went on ahead and did what we needed to do 3-4 years ago, we wouldn't be complaining about what we complaining about today.
Right. Right.
So what are y'all saying that we should have did 3 or 4 years ago? Y'all saying we should have moved on from Matt Ryan then?
No, I'm
Yeah.
saying,
You
well,
could have.
we could have, but I'm also opposed to why keep the folks we kept on the books, such as Shaw and Burkett, how do you say his name? We could have had some more opportunity going on. Not even just quarterback. I'm speaking of all positions. Like we kept Ricardo Allen around, but for what? We kept a lot of people around, but for what?
He was
To
Dan
get
Quinn's
this
guy.
outcome that we got now that we've been having really for the last 3-4 years, 4-5 years, honestly. We ain't really did shit since like 16, 17. So we
Right.
wasted a lot of time and a lot of money.
Right. Think about this too. I always say when you reach the Super Bowl, you know where your ceiling. That's the ceiling. We already know that's the ceiling. The next year after the Super Bowl, whether you win or you lose, how you play that next season will probably determine how you're going to shake out the next couple of years. Atlanta lost the Super Bowl in crazy fashion. Dan Quinn 79 the next season, 79 the season after that, 79 the season after that. So his ceiling was gone 3 years ago. If they had got rid of him, let Matt Ryan walk that same season, uh, I mean Atlanta would probably not be in this position. And as you always say with loyalty, that is what has killed the Falcons. They were loyal to the wrong person. And I'm gonna go
Yep.
all the way back to the Rankin Smith days.
Yep.
Remember when Deion Sanders wanted that big contract? He said they did not offer him a contract. That's your top player, probably in the franchise history so far.
History.
You let him just walk. You let Andre Rison walk 2 years after that. So I mean, it's just a growing trend. Maybe
Right.
get back to that.
Right, in which that goes back to just saying the organization as a whole is trash, been trash. Even when we went to the Super Bowl in '98, the organization as a whole has been trash, and they just need to figure out how to turn it around so that it would be interesting for Falcons fans. And that just kind of makes me go over to every time I think about the fact of having PSLs. PSLs is the worst thing that the Falcons could have did, especially when we trash as
Oh
fuck
boy,
and we put our
Boy.
we just spent too much money into
man,
trash.
don't you know?
Boy.
Sorry.
Boy.
And so, when I look at it, PSL, that stuff is not cheap. And I just happen to be a season ticket holder, and I've been one for like 20 something years. Coming from Georgia Dome and going to a new stadium, I get it. You want to bring the people out, because it's a new stadium. But when it's a new stadium and you're losing, nobody wants to pay for it. And when your tickets make it to Groupon, your team sucks. So I am looking
Right.
forward to having a better team this year. If you can just give me a 5-game win, that would let me know just a little bit. Just a little bit. But if we come back with the same 4 and something, I'm gonna tell you it's not a coaching issue, it's a team issue, meaning players. If we come
Wow.
back with a losing season this season, it's the players. It's not the coach. It's the players. And I'm just gonna say it like that.
Well, let me
And
tell you
what
something, Joy.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
my bad, Smitty.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, my homeboy, that GA boy, he said that now they got the seating without the PSLs. Well, me and my wife were actually a victim of that whole decision because they kicked us out of our section because we had to go find a whole nother seat because they found a whole separate section for people without PSLs that get season tickets. It's cheaper, but they kicked the PSL seat holders out of that section. And I'm sitting here thinking the same thing. I just want to progress. I want something. I just want to be 8-8 for a change.
The crazy thing about that, they're going to charge you out the ass for those tickets. Those tickets are not going to be cheap. If they play Dallas,
I'm glad you said that,
go ahead.
because in my instance, we didn't attend the game last year due to COVID, right? So it was several options on what you could do. One of the options was to roll your tickets over to the next season, or you could go to the game this season, but it was you had to be like in a raffle almost to go to the game, or you could just simply say, forget it, we're not going to pay and move on along. So in my case, we rolled over ours into the next season. But those who did not roll theirs over, those tickets are increasing. The prices are increasing. And I'm very, very opposed to that because we are trash, meaning waste management. And I don't believe in people, paying $200 and $300 a seat to watch us lose. Of course, we can't say what we'll do, in the season coming up because we're always optimistic, about what can happen. But what if we get in there in the first 4 games we lose? You about to start seeing people drop off and not even want to pay to be in there. Now, at this point, folks just going to socialize. And honestly, that's what I did when it first started. I was just socializing. I would get up, go meet my folks for halftime, never really sat in the seat. It was just not last year, but the year before last, where I really just sat down because me and my boyfriend attended together. But child, I was all over the place. You couldn't get me in no seat for what? We losing, nobody cares. I'm just trolleying around. So I'm hoping that, by us bringing in new coaching and, we everybody's optimistic. Okay, we got Arthur Smith. This is how it's going to go. We got Terry. This is how it's going to go. Maybe that'll put people in their seats. But if we start off bad, you might well cancel it. And then you might start hearing some booing because our fans notorious when they get fed up.
And I'm already prepared for that. I'm already prepared for a losing season because people don't want to see it, but we rebuilding. It's not a big rebuild, but at certain parts of the team, we're rebuilding. And if they win 5 games, I'm like, I'd be happy with that. But I'm gonna go back to what I said a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all remember how John Abraham time ended in Atlanta? Same with Roddy White. They were loyal to the wrong players, man. The wrong players. Julio had a ton of injuries by the time he signed that $66 million contract. Matt Ryan was going down when he signed that $150 million contract.
Yep.
So you have to think about, the fans and what they want to see on the field. This is another thing that it just goes all together with loyalty. And they should have never made PSL license. See, they did it because Jerry Jones did it in Dallas, and they see he was succeeding. But at Dallas's fan base, and I'm not being, an ass about it. Dallas's fan base is a lot more loyal than Atlanta because Atlanta can be 4-12, and they'll turn TV off. Dallas can be getting blasted 30, and then their fans were still watching chill.
Yeah.
So it just, it's just a different world in Atlanta.
And I mean, both of y'all completely right, man. Both of y'all completely right. I mean, it's one of those cases where we just have to consider that. One of the biggest differences between Dallas and Atlanta is that Dallas, because you got to remember, before the 90s and before that period, whenever they really started winning, Dallas was trash. People forget that. Like before the 70s, Dallas was terrible. Winning solves a lot of problems.
I do you one better than that. Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns haven't won that 60. And look at their fans. 92,000 fans in the stadium every Sunday. It could be snowing and hailing outside. They sitting in their seats, every seat full. So you tell me, why can't Atlanta fans do that? Support your team no matter what.
Yeah. If you're going to be a fan, be a fan. Because after 2017,
but see,
I seen so much Falcons gear. Oh. Go ahead, Joy.
And I was just saying that's why when it's always a whole extravaganza about whether somebody like Matt Ryan or not, that always triggered me to think that people just like they like players. They don't like teams, because if you did, it wouldn't be so much of an argument about why somebody don't like a certain player. If you a fan of the whole team. Damn who the player is. The person goddamn could have no legs. If they can get us a touchdown, I'm with it. The whole team, it's a team thing. It's not just one person. And from the flip side, I get it when they're saying, okay, y'all always blaming Matt Ryan, but like when I went on Mad Mike thing the other day, I straight told him, at the end of the day, people get upset with Matt Ryan because he is probably the highest paid, maybe, right? The highest paid player on our team. He is, right?
Who, Matt? Yeah.
So therefore, people gonna blame him because they feel like if we done gave you however much million you got, we expect you to do a little bit more than what you're doing. Not to say that the man is a bad player, but that's where the blame is gonna go. We paid you all this money, now we can't get who we need for our team, so that's where that comes in at. I could care less. Matt Ryan can stay around 2 or 3 more years. As long as we win
the thing with that, he's the quarterback, true enough, but he doesn't play defense. And the coaches that coach the defense, the way they lost the games last year, that's the coaching the defense fault. They gave up all those points on defense. They couldn't even stop a nosebleed. So Matt Ryan did his job. His number was not bad, but he could have been better. But you look at the cornerback, AJ Terrell was a rookie. Isaiah Oliver kept getting burnt like a John on Stewart Avenue. And Keanu Neal, he played pretty good, but let's be real, he was injured and he was, a little bit slower than what he usually is. So I mean, Matt Ryan gets a lot of the blame, but most of the time it's coaching.
And Smitty, and that's the
And
thing,
I
man.
agree, but then let's
Everybody. My bad, Joy. I was just gonna say, and Smitty, that's the thing, because everybody, but like people want to keep guys like a Keanu Neal because he hits hard, But I mean, my thing is like, wait a minute, guys. If we want to legitimately win, just because the guy hits hard, I don't see him getting his draws burnt off 2 or 3 times a game. Like he's a good player, but if you want to go to the
But he
next
can't
level
coach.
and like Joy said, win more than
Right.
4 games, you gotta get somebody different.
Right.
Go ahead, Joy.
But see, then again, that brings us back to the contract because we don't have enough money to go around to get what we need to build. True enough, we got great talent on our team, and yeah, the coaches could be blamed for a lot of things. But if I'm thinking, foregoing, what if we go 4-12 or whatever it is again? Are we going to still say it's the coach's fault, or are we going to give blame to the players at that point?
Yeah, it's gonna be the players for not
Because we
executing.
switch coaching
Right.
a lot of times, but we still got majority of the same players and ain't got no damn well.
Yeah. And see, this goes back to what I said earlier with Matt Ryan. I feel like they could have moved on for him before signing him to that big deal. You reset the scale at that position. We're talking about probably 3 to 4 more Pro Bowlers you could have signed with that money. So, I mean, like I say, it was more Thomas Dimitroff in that perspective, because Thomas Dimitroff, man, he just threw away money. I knew that Dante Fowler would not work because they did not run a 3-4. They ran a hybrid type defense, but a regular 4-3 is not Dante Fowler's strength. He played with Aaron Donald in LA. True enough, we have Grady Jarrett here. But Grady Jarrett, let's just be honest, he's not Aaron Donald. No. Aaron Donald can move up and down the line as he please when he gets ready. So, I mean, it was coaching, it was front office. You can blame anybody or the above. And when things fell apart, who got blamed?
You right. Matt Ryan got blamed.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, Matt Ryan, sure enough, he's the quarterback and he's getting paid the most on the team, the most in Atlanta Falcons history. But Matt Ryan, he's not rushing the quarterback, and he ain't setting the edge, or he's not playing the safety position. You know what I'm saying? Making sure nobody gets past him. I mean, we got to consider all of that, man. I hate whenever people say, "Oh, Drew Brees beat Matt Ryan." Like, no, that's not the case. Drew Brees didn't beat Matt Ryan. Drew Brees' defense. Drew Brees scored more points on our defense than Matt Ryan scored on their defense. That's what happened. But Drew Brees didn't beat Matt Ryan, or if they say Matt Ryan beat Drew Brees. That's definitely not the case, man.
Yeah, and then there's another thing for the people who out there saying Matt Ryan should have deal with Ben Roethlisberger did or deal with Drew Brees did. They've already restructured his contract 2 times. This is going to be the 3rd time that they do it. When you restructure a contract, you're essentially locking them in for the next couple of years, because the back half of that contract is going to be loaded. So if they keep restructuring, it's going to be more money on the backside, and you can't, just do away with a deal like that. If they cut him or trade him, they're still going to be on the hook for $30-40 million. So just think about that.
Yeah, you basically just putting it on more of a payment plan. Basically, it's just one of those cases.
It's just a layaway.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, man. Yeah, but yeah, I definitely want to shout out everybody that's chilling out with us tonight, man. Much love to everybody chilling out. Brian Peoples, what in the world, Bo? I see you in here, man. You see that? They said, is our schedule going to be hard next season? What you think about that question, Smitty?
I haven't looked at the schedule yet. I'm just trying to get through the first part of the off season. But to be honest, I never pay attention to the schedule because let's be honest, to be the best team out there, you got to beat the best team. So the schedule really don't matter. If the right coaching on, we had the right coaches, right players in the right system, schedule don't even matter because you're gonna run right through it.
You know, man, no different. And then it's like when everybody say, "Oh, the teams that we're playing next year, they had each they were pretty bad last year." Yeah, I think, man, everybody's working during the off season. Everybody's trying to get better. So, you know, you never know if you'll have a team like I don't know, somebody who went from worst to first or just got better. San Diego Chargers. You know, you never know if you're going to play teams like that, you know,
Right.
throughout the course of the season. I mean, you just
Right.
never know, man. So, yeah, just like David said, the schedule is irrelevant.
Yeah, it is irrelevant because if no matter how good or how bad your team is, you got to line up on Sunday. I mean, that's why
Yep.
they play the game. Like Chris Berman used to always say, that's why they play the game. Any given Sunday, you can win or you can lose, no matter how good or how bad your team is. Patriots
You're right.
18-0, still lost the Super Bowl.
Yep. Well, you know, you mentioned the Patriots. You know, a lot of people say that Bill Belichick is heartless, things like that. Bill Belichick's also been to the Super Bowl a whole bunch of times too. You know,
Right.
those same players, he knows when to let go. He's not holding that emotional attachment. He'll say, "Okay, well, I got to make this move. Got to let you go." They say, because think about this, Smitty. Like all of these guys that's been coming to the league and just lighting the league on fire at the wide receiver position. If we would have
Right.
let Julio go 2-3 years, and I look, y'all don't get mad at me for saying this, but we will let Julio go and got a Justin Jefferson halfway through the first round last year. Justin
Right.
Jefferson got more upside than Julio Jones does at this point in his career.
Right. And I've said that 1,000 times, man. You can't, fall in love with players, man, because wide receiver is one of the most replenishable positions that it is in football. You can get a regular receiver, he can get 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. I mean, it's just facts. Same thing with a running back. You get a running back there who got enough heart to run and become a superstar and have the heart to play running back. They can, do the same thing. Look at Michael Turner. He sat behind LT all those years. Then when he came to Atlanta, he showed that he had the talent to be his own player. So,
Yep.
I mean, really any offensive position other than offensive tackle, because you have to have skill to play tackle. But as far as guard and center and those two positions, you put a person there that has the heart to play those positions. I mean, you can find anywhere. So, I mean, I'm never gonna be sold on paying a receiver $20 million. I just didn't understand it.
Man, I couldn't understand it neither, man. It's like, so it's like we're looking at, so you talk about paying a receiver $20 million. You look at the Dallas Cowboys now. Dak Prescott's gonna be getting $75 million next year. Zeke, he's getting like close to $20 million. Amari Cooper, he's getting broke off.
And you got DeMarcus Lawrence. You got
Marcus Lawrence.
who else? The Gallup kid gonna have to get paid. You
He's
got
gonna have to get paid one day.
Tyron Smith still making good money, but they'll probably have to cut him because he's breaking all the way down. So you look at that situation. They're gonna be like the Falcons in 2 years. I mean, they're gonna have to find a way to cut cap space. But I just don't see in any kind of perspective where Atlanta, where they just, say, here, we just do, because Julio, they restructured his deal. He's stuck here for 2 more years. And that's what they're going to have to do. They're just going to be stuck with these players.
Yeah.
2 years, in 2 years, they'll be in the same position again.
Exactly. If they restructure, I mean, so unless they can figure something out, I mean, I'm just letting everybody know they might as well just kind of get used to it. Now, I want to, because Let's Get It GA, he hit me up on Instagram, airing out his frustrations earlier. And he said that He said, let's just be real, coaches. When our teams play the Falcons, the Hawks, and the Braves, it's more fans cheering for the opposing teams than our team. And it's been like that for years. Now, so basically he's just been talking about just this whole culture in Atlanta. We all know that Atlanta, they have a lot of transients. People move here, but what you feel about that, Smitty? Like, you mentioned you touched on a little bit earlier, but
yeah, but the thing with it seems like it's the same thing, man. The Braves were up 3-1 in the NLCS last year. Came down to managerial mishaps. You mean to tell me you can't put the right reliever in the game at the right time? Because that's what it all boiled down to.
Yep.
If they had them 3-1. Now I know they didn't have Mike Soroka, their best pitcher. You had enough pitchers in your bullpen to shut the Dodgers down for 9 more innings. You did it 3 games before that. So, I mean, it comes down to coaching. The Hawks. Lloyd Pierce stayed here way too long.
Way too long.
He should have got fired before the season started.
Before the season even started.
Travis Link is doing a good job in Atlanta. True enough. But some of the money that he spent this past offseason was just stupid. And what I mean by that, Danilo Gallinari, 32 years old, you get him $64 million. That's money wasted. True enough, he's putting up, nice stats. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to end up trading him because of his salary. Chris Dunn hasn't played a game yet. And don't look like he's going to play a game.
No.
You have John Collins, who you should have been signed to a contract. Now you might lose him, for nothing. So it's the front office of all the Atlanta teams. The same thing is the problem, and it's the front office.
Front office.
I mean, there's no way around it.
Front office. I mean, you're right. You're right. It's just like what we were saying with the Falcons. Instead of because look, we know that anytime you have a popular player for any team, whenever you get ready, whenever it's time to move on, you reach that breaking point where you start to see him decline, and you say, right. Sometimes it makes sense. Like it's like having that car. You have that 6-year car payment, and you on year 4. You're like, man, right. Do I trade it in or because is it gonna tear up or man, this insurance is expensive? So it's like, what do I do with it moving forward? Atlanta sports, either we do it too early or we don't do it at all.
Yeah,
with the right players. Either we do it. This whole Trae Young situation. It's like, what are they going to like? Trae, it's obvious that Trae don't like playing with John Collins.
Yeah, it's obvious.
You know what I'm saying? Obvious. It's obvious that he don't like playing with John Collins. It's obvious that he definitely wants something different for this team. Is that let's just hope to God that Atlanta don't mess around and lose both of these guys.
And see, the problem is with the Atlanta Hawks. Like I said, I love what he's building in Atlanta, and I love the way he's doing it. But let's be real. Trae Young needs somebody back there in the backcourt with him, and there's no way around that.
Yep.
If you don't get Bradley Beal somehow, or let's say a Jimmy Butler, a player of that type, Atlanta's going to be in the same situation. You can always get front court players, but guards are hard to come by in the league. And you see that, like I said, with Miami, you see it with the New York Knicks, you see it with the Clippers. They still need a shooting guard. So if you look at that, by itself, if Atlanta does not get a shooting guard to go along with Trae Young, to build what I think they're trying to do, it's going to be same old thing over and over with Dominique Wilkins. They're going to lose him too.
Yep. Yeah. And if they don't show some sort of action and have a plan and kind of move forward with it, because this offseason, I was waiting for that big move to happen. That's what I was waiting on. I was like, okay, so we need to pull some sort of trade or something.
You seen it yourself. The team just stopped playing for Lloyd Pierce.
Yeah.
Some games they be up by 10 or 15 points. Start of the fourth quarter, they just fall flat. And it's not always Trae Young not being on the floor. It's your coach adjusting to what he has on the floor. It seemed like when Trae Young went in the game, he said, "Oh well, I don't know where to go or who to go to." But let's see what happens when I put these players with these players. You are supposed to already know that. You coach these guys in practice. You coach them during the game, so you're supposed to know what your lineup is supposed to look like and what you have. And Lloyd Pierce, he could not do that.
Yeah, he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Somebody even said that Lloyd Pierce is the black Dan Quinn. I heard that one time. I said, man, that's rough right there.
And they both ball headed, I tell you that. But yeah, it was pretty much a true statement.
Yeah. It's like they got the talent, but they just didn't know what to do with the talent. Because let's be honest, Smitty, you know good and well that Atlanta Falcons team last year should have been better than 4-12.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
they
Smitty.
They lost what 5 or 6 games in the last 8 minutes of the game. So
yeah,
they could have easily been 10-6, easily.
Easy.
But
how you lose a game by accidentally scoring a touchdown, Smith?
No, that onside kick was worse.
Oh,
you learn onside kick in recreational football.
Pee-wee football.
And you can't be mad at Todd Gurley, even if he did score. Your defense job is to stop the other team.
Hey,
you can't get no pressure on the quarterback. You can't cover a wide receiver. Your linebacker is out of place. That's all coaching. I don't care if Todd Gurley scored 2 touchdowns and they came back from 2. It's the defense job to stop. Even though Matt Ryan said fall when you get the first down, I don't care if he do score. The defense still supposed to stop them. There's no way around it.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, he's trying to get his next contract. So I'm pretty sure 8 looks better than 7. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm not mad at Todd Gurley at all. I don't know what his contract included, but if there were any kind of incentives in there, like I ain't mad at him for scoring. Get your money, Bo.
Right.
You know?
Because let's be honest, man. His career is about over, and I'm not afraid to say that now. I didn't want to believe that before last season started, but when I seen it with my own eyes, how his knees were breaking down, he probably only has 1 or 2 years left, if that.
Yeah. He's not the same guy. He ain't number 3. He ain't number 3 no more. Nope. He ain't number 3 no more. You know, but wait a minute. David M said, aside from Todd Gurley, what Bulldog player has made a major impact in the NFL within the last 10 years?
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb.
he is the real deal. Everybody was talking about Sony Michel, Todd Gurley, but Nick Chubb waited his turn, got on the right team in the right offense, and he's going to be probably, to be honest, if he keeps running like this for the next 5 years, he's an easy Hall of Famer. Easily.
Because last year, to me, he looked like the best running back in the league to me last year.
Right.
Him and Dalvin Cook. I mean, because
Aaron Jones did that conversation too, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now look, y'all, everybody that's chilling out watching with us now, I'm pretty sure y'all know this dude over here beside me. I know all y'all know Smitty Sports Machine. You know, one of the best Atlanta Falcons content creators. He's the man.
Yeah, they get at me, man. They get at me.
Definitely. But for everybody that don't know me, my name is Big Low Kuntry. Make sure that y'all do a country boy favor and subscribe to my channel.
Y'all do that, man. Take it from your boy. Take it from your boy. If y'all follow me, please follow him. Which way do I point? This way or that way?
Definitely. But yeah, man, I just think moving forward, you know, I'm real excited to see, because one thing that a lot of people don't realize, Smitty, is that in free agency, that kind of determines what you're going to do in the draft. That shows the plan that the team has. So it's like once we see what they do in free agency, I mean, it's going to be little to nothing. but once we see what they can do in free agency, then we're going to see, you know what I'm saying, which way you go as far as that draft goes. And I'm definitely excited about that.
They don't have any cap space. They're going to clear up probably at the end of the day. I think they'll probably clear up between 10 and 15 million, which is not a lot. But at the same time, you can find 3 to 4 good players to fill in and, give you a blueprint of where else you need to build in the draft. And this is why, I said they need to trade back out of number 4. They possibly get a first rounder for 2022, a second rounder, and maybe a 5th rounder. So it's going to be key to see what they do with that pick. But if they do trade that pick, I would expect them to trade twice because people are not talking about the edge rushers in this draft. But it's 2 that I like, and it's 2 linebackers that I like. So
who you like, Smitty? Who you like? Tell me who you peeping out over there now.
Well, I did one earlier today on Jalen Phillips from Miami. He slept on. Not many people are talking about him, but if the Falcons can trade back far enough, like close to the 15 to 20 range, I can see him there in Quiddy Pay. I can see him in that range as defensive end. Linebackers, I love Xavier Collins from Tulsa. Triple threat. Michael Parsons, who I've been talking about for 3 months. I could see him, as a possible move if they trade back. Because defense is where they're going to have to go, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
I don't see a running back coming off the board for the Falcons until 2nd or maybe 3rd or maybe 4th round. So defense is where they should go because that is their biggest Achilles right now.
Even Arthur Blank, the man that's used to selling plywood and hammers, told y'all. He told y'all that, look, man, we need to fix this running game and this defense. Everybody's worried about a quarterback, but you got a really good quarterback already. I ain't nothing wrong with looking at a backup to come in later. Just like you said, Kellen Mond.
Yeah. 3rd round, 3rd or 4th round. Right.
Yeah.
So like I said, talent has no round. It goes by what you do when you get your chance to shine. If you can do what you need to do to succeed in the NFL, a round or a draft pick don't even matter.
You're right, man. You're right. Now, you were talking about these edge rushers and everything. I'm really feeling, because one thing that we have to consider is, I know that we're talking about moving to that 3-4 defense, but just like I do, Smitty, it's always that transition period. Trying to get the right personnel. And one thing that a lot of people aren't thinking about is is Grady Jarrett going to be able to fit that scheme?
Yeah, I think he would, but see, and this is the only thing that hurts him about his size. In a 3-4, he would be a defensive end. Yep. But at the same time, if you plug somebody next to him, and I got a guy that I'm going to drop on my next mock draft, that was a late round pick from BYU. If they get a guy big enough that can, eat up space, he would be fine as a defensive end in 3-4. You look at Marlon Davidson, who couldn't stay healthy and had COVID. We can finally see what he do this year. So he's going to be a defensive tackle or a 3-4 defensive end. So it's just so many ways that they can go with that. And that's what I love about the 3-4. You can always pick players who have versatility. They can play in or they can play outside linebacker. So that is going to be the most interesting thing to see how they draft. And way I think versatility is the key to what they will draft. Because most of the players that I've put together so far are very versatile players. They can play defensive end, outside linebacker, safety, or slot corner. It's just so many ways you can go.
Yeah. See, I've been really doing a lot of my research on these these big defensive ends. Like the guys that are running around 6'4", 6'5", 270, the 2'8", like the Joe Tryons or the Twymans out of
Right.
Pitt. Those are the guys that I'm real.
I like Jonathan Cooper as well. He's not
Yeah.
polished. He's not polished, but with the right work, a guy like Chuck Smith can train him. This dude, man, he is a freak. Fast, can use his hands. It's something that he needs to work on, but his bend is crazy. His first step it reminds me of Von Miller, and that sounded a lot.
Oh, he got a first step like that.
Yeah. So if he can get the right coaching and get under the right tutelage, he'll be just fine. And he's going to be a day 3 pick.
Yeah. And see, those are the guys, and that's where you got to consider that's where coaching comes into place, Smitty, because guys in a rough like that. That's how the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's why they're always in the mix. That's why they're always in the mix. They don't go out and get big name free agents. They draft in-house. They develop their talent. Yep. Next thing they're in the playoffs over and over again. Every now and then they'll put it together and win. And right. I mean that's how you do it. Green Bay Packers, they draft, they develop. Every now and then they'll make a huge signing, Reggie White.
And this is exactly what Levon Kirkland told me. He said they go out and draft who fits their system. They don't worry about a name. They don't worry about what they did in college. They look at what they do in the combine and practice or whatever, and however they scout them. And this is why they've been successful for so long. They have defensive linemen at 300 pounds that can cover. Levon Kirkland was 300 and I think 315, 320.
Yeah, he was like 320. Yeah, exactly.
So if the Falcons can follow some kind of blueprint such as that, I think they'll be just fine.
Exactly. Because moving forward, you're gonna have to draft good to get out of this hole that you're in. Right. You're gonna have to draft, and you're gonna have to be willing to miss out. I mean, well, you're gonna have to be willing to draft some guys. They play well, and you're gonna have to let them go because for a while you're just not gonna be able to have the money. Now, you was talking about having guys to fit your system, Smitty, and everybody wants to talk about these quarterbacks. My question to you is: out of all these quarterbacks, out of the Trey Lances and the Zach Wilsons, Justin Fields, which quarterback do you think would fit this system the best if we did get a quarterback?
I would say Justin Fields, but at the same breath, this is why I said Kellen Mond, because same type body, same type build. Justin Fields' arm is a little bit stronger, but Kellen Mond can also make those throws. So, that's what I'm saying. You can keep Matt Ryan for 2 more years, draft Mond right now, develop him for 2 years and see where he's at. If he's not there, then you take your future quarterback. So, you just got to use brain sometimes with this stuff.
Exactly.
It just makes sense.
Exactly. I see a few people putting their votes in. I ain't gonna lie to you, Smitty, man. I'm crazy about Matt Jones, man. I don't know what it is about Matt Jones.
And that's the crazy thing, man. A lot of people are sleeping on him, but they don't realize he was in a pro-style offense, NFL talent. He can make any throw on the field. His accuracy is off the chain. So if they take Matt Jones at number 4 or trade down and take him in the top 10, I would not be mad at all.
I wouldn't.
People say he's a statue, but at the same time, pocket passing quarterbacks are never going to go out of style, no matter how much the game changed.
They win championships over and over.
Right, because they use this.
It's a lot easier to get the ball from point A to point B if I throw it, opposed to if I run it. you know. So yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. Now, I know we've been talking, Smitty. And you know, I don't want to put you on the spot now, but we've been talking about doing a
No,
draft
go ahead.
together. We've been talking about doing a draft together. You think you might want to get together sometime or another and try to do one, you know,
Yeah,
show
we
everybody
can do
kind of
one
what
next.
we thinking.
We can do one next week.
Okay. Yeah, man. Yeah. We'll definitely get together and see what we can work up because we got another month and a half until the draft comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you know, we just gonna, you know, moving forward. This is one of the biggest, busiest time of the year for content creators, man. But yeah, man. Well, shoot, Smitty, I definitely appreciate you coming on and chilling out with me tonight, man. Thank you so much,
No
family.
problem, man. Anytime.
Thank you so much, man. Like I said, y'all make sure I check my boy Smitty out. Anybody who ain't subscribed to him, but almost everybody in here already is. But y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my boy Smitty, man. Definitely. And everybody, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Big Low Country. As a matter of fact, let me put my link in the chat here.
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all do that, man. Make sure y'all go support my boy just like y'all support me, man.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Well, shoot, man. I definitely appreciate it, bro. And everybody, thank y'all so much for chilling out with us, man. Y'all be easy.
Peace.